Hails and welcome. Alright, we're just going to start from the gate, no messing around. This is the Triumphal Chariot of Antimony by Basil Valentine. Basil Valentine. I'm sorry if I... His Triumphal Chariot of Antimony with annotations of Theodore Kirkeringus. Since Basil Valentine, by religious vows, am bound according to the order of Saint Benedict, and that requires another manner of spirit of holiness than the common state of mortals exercised in the profane business of this world. I thought it my duty before all things in the beginning of this little book to declare what is necessary to be known to be pious, to the pious, spagrist, inflamed with an ardent desire of this art, as what he ought to do, and whereunto to direct his aim, that he may lay such foundations of the whole matter as he may be stable, lest his building shaken with winds happen to fail, and the whole edifice to be involved in shameful ruin, which otherwise, being founded on more firm and solid principles, might have continued for a long series of time. Which admonition I judge is and always will be a necessary part of my religious office, especially since we must all die, and no one of us, which now are, whether high or low, shall long be seen among the number of men. For it concerns me to commend these meditations of mortality and posterity, leaving them behind me, not only that honor may be given to the divine majesty, but also that men may obey his sincerely in all things. In this meditation I found that there are 5 principal heads, chiefly to be considered by the wise and prudent spectators of our wisdom and art. The first of which is invocation of God, the second, contemplation of nature, the third, true preparation, the fourth, the way of using, the fifth, utility in fruit. For he who regards not these shall never obtain place among true chemists, or fill up the number of perfect spagrists. Therefore, touching these 5 heads, we shall here following treat, and so far declare them as that the general work may be brought to light and perfected by an intent and studious operation. See, that's what I'm trying to have here, a studious operation, and just like Valentine's saying, he's trying to spread a message here. I'm just trying my best. So, it's a good message. So this is number 1 is first, God to be first invoked. So invocation of God must be made with a certain heavenly intention, drawn from the bottom of pure and sincere heart and conscience, free from all ambition, hypocrisy, and all other vices, which have any affinity with these, as arrogance, boldness, pride, luxury, mundane petulancy, oppression of the poor, and other dependent evils, all which are to be eradicated out of the heart, that when a man desires to prostrate himself before the throne of grace for obtaining bodily health, he may do that with a conscience free from all unprofitable weeds that his body may be transmuted into a holy temple of God and be purged away from every uncleanness. For God will not be mocked, which I earnestly admonish, as worldly men, pleasing and flattering themselves with their own wisdom, think. God, I say, will not be mocked, but the Creator of all things will be invoked with reverential fear and acknowledged with due obedience. And for this there is great reason. For what hath man that he must not own to be received from his own omnipotent Creator, whether he have respect to the body or the soul which operates the body? Hath no he, for sustention of this, out of his mere mercy communicated to us his eternal word, and also promised eternal salvation? Hath not he also provided food and clothing for the body, and all those things without which the body cannot subsist? And I'm sorry, I'm going to stop right there. He has, and let's take a moment here. Dear Yahweh, thank you. Thank you for providing food and clothing for the body, and all those things with which the body cannot subsist. It's very important, and it's part of the purification. Thank you for my showers and my relaxation, my sanctuary, my spirituality. Thank you. This has been a phenomenal experience. We can balance out the bad. We need a little more time, okay? We're waking up. We're going to do this. I want to invoke you into my heart and the heart of everyone listening. Hail Lord, hail God, hail Jesus, hail Yahweh, amen. Okay. Yeah, when they, you read something like that, it's like, okay, I haven't prayed that much today. Let's do one. Okay, all these by humble prayer a man obtains of that most excellent Father who created heaven and earth together with things visible and invisible as the firmament, elements, vegetables, and animals, which is so very true that I am certainly assured no impious man shall ever be partaker of true medicine, much less of the eternal heavenly bread. Therefore, place your whole intention and trust in God. Call upon Him and pray that He may impart His blessing to you. Let this be the beginning of your work, so that by the same you may obtain your desired end and at length effect what you intend. So okay, that's the first one, and there's a lot in there, and I don't want to pause too much or be mocking, but that eternal heavenly bread reminded me of Fermented Fairy. I watched her video on YouTube. Go check that out. Can't wait to get some of that. I love bread, and this holy bread she was talking about in that Crow 777 honey and bread. That video's only got a few views, just like mine, but maybe it's everything's inverted, so the best ones have the lowest views. Everyone else is a poser. If you have over 10 views, I have over 10, but I think I watch my own video. But I'm just trying to, hey, it's for my own entertainment too, okay? You got to be doing it for a reason, and it's for God, for Yahweh, and this is my work, invocation of God. I feel like I have a sense of demonic infestation, and I'm not promoting anything like that. It's just the reality and the truth. But let's get busy. For the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Whosoever purposeth in himself to seek after that which is the greatest of tyranny things, especially the knowledge of every good thing that is in the creatures, and God hath liberally imparted to men, and implanted as to their effective power in stones, herbs, roots, seeds, animals, plants, minerals, metals, yea, and indeed in all things. Let him cast away all earthly thoughts, reject all that depends on them, and hope for freeness of heart, and pray unto God with great lowliness of mind. So doing, his hope of freeness may at length be turned into freedom, which no man will doubt who knows that he alone is God, who delivered Israel from all his enemies, which deliverance he did in very indeed effect, not only for Israel, but for all men, making humble supplications to him, and praying without brokenness of heart. Therefore, let prayer be the first point of our admonition, which also is, and by us is called, invocation of God, which if made not with hypocrisy and feigned heart, but with such faith and trust as that with which the centurion in Capernaum prayed, with such lowliness of mind and confusion of sins, as the woman of Canaan was endured with such charity as the Samaritan shewed to the man wounded in the way to Jericho, pouring wine and oil into his wounds, paying his charges in the inn, and giving order he should be very carefully looked to. Lastly, if a man's Christian charity exceeds itself so far as if he obtain what he prays for, he would willingly commute of the same to his neighbor, and then shall unobtainedly obtain riches and health, the of his prayer. Amen. And I'm going to take a break there because I really stumbled with that, but that's some good stuff. And I hope you guys are liking that. I think this is going to be our intro stuff. This channel we're going to intro with Alchemy, and then we'll get into Apocrypha. That'll always be the ender. Alright. And yeah, I'm just trying to avoid the pitfalls of multimedia. It's a labyrinth of trickery, and I've been working all day, and I'm still going to do these every day. This is my work, my holy work, so I just want to share it with y'all. And I mean, I do other things, listen to other things, but I do little hour things every day, just as I was listening to RV today. So let's just do the news. I'm just going to squeeze in the news with our work because it's good to stay busy. I don't want to get involved in other people's business or drama, and I want to be as holy as possible, but you know, just sharing information, and I don't know, I don't want to gossip or talk, but so Flat Earth Focker, RIP. Yeah, I didn't seem like a cool dude. I listened to him on RV Truth's live stream a few times, but I don't know, he seemed like just crazy negative, weird vibe. I got weird vibes from him, and also the other dude, but no disrespect to RV, I know I'm not trying to give him flack, it's just some of these dudes are just kind of goons and nerds and losers. I'm sorry, like that's what RV's cleaning house, that's what's going on, and I respect that. I'll say I'm a RV fanboy, I don't care. I got no ego, man. Like, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing this probably, man. And, you know, I said that to Richie at Boston too, so I'm saying it to both of them, and it sucks. Like, it's gotta be, I don't know, have more respect to anyone out there. Show them, like, the old generation more respect, you know, like, not trying to lecture, it's just, I don't know, like, is the Focker guy a shill? Like, he said some really weird stuff, man, that just, I don't know, I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, ever hang out with a friend, and they just say something off, and you can just get over it, and just move on, you know, kind of like, just sound like, put on some stupid hat, or say something that's not even funny, you're like, okay, let's, and the only reason I'm seeing that is, like, I don't know, those people, they're just, I don't know, we're out judging the dead, but RV said he was fine a couple days ago, like, he just, in the video, he's like, yeah, I'm 60% better, but he sounded 100% the same, so, R.I.P. brother, but if you're alive out there, whatever, you know, it's all good, whatever, I'm not getting involved, so that was the one thing was in the news. And but the other news is a 5-hour RV stream, so RV fanboy, I'm promoting that. I'm just trying to be humble here, okay? Yeah, I got to listen to the whole thing while I was working today. It was awesome. So I'm usually out of service and I can't listen to. I usually have things recorded, whole scriptural truth, a lot of Robert Frill stuff I got recorded, or music, Templars, Oi, or Coil, some Horse, Rotovator. It's a great album, even though it's weird and probably not holy music, but okay, so let's get back into what we're talking about. So Basil Valentine is the angelicized version of the name Basilius Valentinus. Get a linguist on here. I need an interview and just someone just watch my back at all times. No, that is Valentinus. Ostensibly a 15th century alchemist, possibly canon of the Benedict Priory of St. Peter in Erfurt, Germany, but more likely a pseudonym used by one or several 16th century German authors. Yeah, it's just a theme I've heard. They're all writing under one name, but I don't know. It's just a lie. Who knows? Does it matter? It's just information, like RV was saying. Like, does it matter what size you are? I guess it could matter, but there's some nefarious intent about hiding these people's identity. But anyhow, this is all from Wikipedia, okay? I'm just giving you the lowdown of who this individual I was reading about is, okay? So according to John Maxon Stillman, okay, John, according to you, whoever you are, he wrote on the history of chemistry once. There is no evidence of such a name on the rolls in Germany or Rome, and no mention of his name before 1600. His putative history, like his imaginary portrait, appears to be of later creation than the writings themselves. I hear that, but I don't know. This is sometimes you're just reading through Wikipedia and you're just trudging through a swamp, it feels like. I'm just being honest. So wow, this picture of him's cool. Hopefully I don't have this synced up. I'm haphazardly recording and the sequencer going and reading, so this is about this is raw. Because I just re-record, like, okay, I'm not getting through this. There's so much stuff to get through, so it's like a race. There's not enough time, and I'm not trying to rush through or it's horrible. If there's something completely terrible, I'll totally edit it out. But it's kind of almost like a live stream, so. Alright. So, like I said, I'll be matching up that with some cool art. Hopefully you are enjoying that. And let's get back into the reading here. Alright. Just want to make sure I'm not going to lose anything. So, I was struggling to find my bookmarks and things, and I don't want to waste your time or mine, so I had to just stop for a second. And yeah, they say he's a monk of the Benedict order and Hermetic philosopher, so it's kind of like us, huh? And so another word Crow talks about a lot, and I think I was saying it wrong, and then I thought about how to say it, and then I think I just forgot again. So spagyric. Alright, man, we're talking about spagyric. Does that sound like, that was a terrible crow right there, but sorry, crow. Maybe that was like a 12-year-old crow. I don't know. But spagyric is a word in English that means alchemy. Some people have coined the use of the word to mean an herbal medicine produced by alchemical procedures, particularly in the context of Paracelsianism. These procedures involve fermentation. We were just talking about that. See, we are the modern day enlightened people, and we just gotta grow, grow our hermetic orders into the old alchemy styles with these PMAs. And that's what while we're still talking about the news, I just want to keep bringing these things up so I don't forget. It's just all projecting mentally. So public member associations, yeah, so Fermented Fairy was talking all about that, and it just seems awesome. Like, you can make stuff, like, start making gold, guys. Come on, this is not about greed. It's about God. Okay, so these procedures involve fermentation, distillation, and extraction of mineral components from the ash of the plant. These processes were in use in medieval alchemy, generally for the separation and purification of metals from ores. See calcination, and salts from brines and other aqueous solutions. Okay. And then Paracelsianism. I probably said that wrong. It's Paracelsianism, you moron. This guy's a moron. You shouldn't even be saying those words by yourself. I was using it for self-deprecating humor, but that'll be the last time. That's not allowed in the holy temple. You gotta wipe off your muddy feet before you come in, even with dumb-witted humor, okay? I'll stop with it. Sorry, guys. So, it's an early modern medical movement on theories and therapies of Paracelsus. Let's see his name. Paracelsus. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'll pronounce it right in the future. So we're just digging deeper here. So this guy was a pioneer in several aspects of the medical revolution of the Renaissance, emphasizing the value of observation in combination with received wisdom. So he is credited as the father of toxicology. Oh, I've heard of him, yeah. So Paracelsus also had a substantial impact as a prophet or diviner. His prognostications being studied by Rosicrucians in the 1600s. Yeah, this is basically what we're doing here. It's a medical, religious truth movement, and that's what you're going to get at this channel. So hang in there. There's better things coming. I'm just figuring out what this is, what we're doing here, and there's so many avenues to go down, but definitely influenced by what Crow was talking about, by Centurion in Capernaum. When Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him asking for help. "Lord," he said, "my servant lies at my home paralyzed, suffering terribly." Jesus said to him, "Shall I come and heal him?" The centurion replied, "Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof." Oh. Was he just being honest, or? Alright, so that's what that was. I remember that was in what we're reading, and I wasn't sure. So that's what cool thing about reading this literature is it leads to bigger and brighter things. Okay, so let's just kind of tear down what I just read for a moment, and then we'll do some Apocalypse of Elijah and call it a night. So, alright. So this guy's bound to the order of Saint Benedict, and it requires another manner of spirit of holiness. So I think it's like a higher order, than the common state of mortals exercised. And they said profane business of the world, so it's just lowly. Most people like it. There's all this information and things we should be doing, and hopefully people will catch on, and we'll create a better world before it's taken all away from us, or we forget it and lose it, and they give up on us because we gave up on ourselves. So I thought it my duty before all things in the beginning of this little book to declare what is necessary to know about the pious spagyrist. So I think it's just getting on to spiritizing your mind and your mindset. Okay, so we're talking about meditation, so we're changing from within here. It's internal alchemy. So it's just based on these principles, remember? And men obey the Lord sincerely in all things. So 5 principles, what were they? Pop quiz, hot shot. Who's the grand wizard spagyrist? Alright. Okay, well, the first one's invocation of God. The second, contemplation of nature. God, nature. Third, preparation. Fourth, the way of using. Fifth, utility and fruit. Okay, so 5. I don't really have many 5s. I'm really into numerology. Hopefully studying numbers isn't the devil's tool, because 4 and 6 are big with me, and that's just, I don't know, I feel like those are my path numbers. And 4s, but that's why 4 is definitely my dominant number, but 6, I have tons of that, and then 7 is like kind of my righteous number. I feel like when I see 7s, 777, the Lord's hailing me with righteousness, and I feel His inspiration. So, Okay, so that's in the meditation. So first we're going to be invoking God. So this is really important. We gotta really get in here. It can't just be like, oh, okay, you can invoke him. I'm sorry, my friend, it's not so simple. So it's got to be made with certain heavenly intent. Drawn from the bottom. So bottom chakra, possibly, just from the sacral zone, from all of your inspiration, creativity. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to draw it in through all of my creativity and pure heart and conscience, free from all ambition. I'm trying to be a millionaire here, so no, just kidding. I'm in the wrong business. Yeah. No, I'm probably in the right one, but I'm not gonna jump through all those hoops and ladders and do some soy jack thing. This is Alchemy. It's a bumpy ride, so keep your arms and legs in the vehicle and keep your soy jack mouth closed. I don't want to see your tongue getting bit off by your own teeth. Okay, and all other vices. So you gotta get rid of them vices, man. They're bad. You gotta find a device to get rid of them, and I got one. The chakra pH. I was thinking about making a video, but it's so easy to explain it. So they look at the chakras, look at your pH scale, the colors. They're in sync with each other. They match. So you can use as a tool to see what you should be consuming if you want a high potential of hydrogen, which I think is important for alchemy and just spirituality or health. Like, disease cannot exist in an inflamed environment, and you're inhaling like me. You can tell it's in my voice. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I smoke and it's bad, terrible. But I'm quitting here, and I'm cutting back, and I have a demonic infestation I'm dealing with here, guys. Not lying either, but this is how I'm dealing with it. And thank you for listening to me. And even if it's just one person, will be the highest because we'll have the lowest views. I'm telling you, we're using the golf skill here. The lowest views, it's going to be the most sacred because I'm pouring my heart and soul in these, telling you guys. Okay. And so we're invoking God here with prayer. So let's get rid of vices, affinity with these, arrogance, boldness, pride, luxury, mundane petulance. I was just thinking about pride. Pride's so stupid. What is this? Proud of what? Proud to be a Republican. Proud of being a Democrat. What does that really take? You just check a box. Oh wow, there's a lot to be proud about there. Fools, malarkey. Okay, mundane petulancy. You gonna vote? I have no time for such mundane petulancy. Oppression of the poor and other dependent evils. Yeah. Being a soy jack that collects Legos. Yeah. Jack. All which are to be eradicated out of the heart. So it's got to eradicate all the vices and purify yourself. It's gonna be a hard road. I did that with drinking. Let me tell you real quick. I grew up with it, off and on, all or nothing, real bad, scary. And you think back, why was I doing that, man? Like you're possessed, or I don't know. It's the spirits, they call alcohol spirits, and it's alchemy. It changes you. It opens the door so do other drugs, and that's why vices aren't good, like shrooms or weed or whatever. It's not going to help you be close. The fasting, the going to mass, being pure, that's going to help you. It's going to help you with your life. Not spending your money on vices, having a vision, working, keeping your body healthy. Like this, I don't know, I forgot what I was talking about, but this is all, it just segued itself back into God to be first invoked, okay? And that's what, to get the demons out, fasting, or listen to me reading the Apocalypse of Elijah. Fasting casts out demons. So if you do have them, don't be ashamed, and you can come here and talk about them. I want to have people, the demons, come here and talk about them. I want to have do like this on the week, and then interviews on the weekend, or live where we do readings with people and try to involve them and teach them our teachings. So okay, so this body needs to be transmuted, and we need to make it healthy. If it's unhealthy, it's really important. So we got to become a holy temple of God, okay? And you got to purge it from every uncleanness. So I'm not a doctor or nothing, but you should stop eating meat, guys. It's going to rot in your stomach and make you unclean. If you want to go on this path we're going on here, of apocryphal spiritualist, that's what we're going for. Okay, God shouldn't be mocked, and I felt, God, please forgive me if I feel I was mocking my last video for laughing during the readings, but just, if I was slap happy from just putting so much effort into, but anyhow, I wanted to edit it out. I thought I was listening to it later and it sounded funny. Could you imagine that scenario? It seems like that's happened before, or this is just like, it really happened. These are true stories, but it's also allegories and for archetypes, and it's the ongoing story of the battle of good and evil. You're battling your demons constantly, or if you don't, you're battling external demons. This is a spiritual warfare. If you don't see that, you got those goggles on Wizard of Oz they had. So yeah, you got the emerald goggles on. You gotta take those off, or put on your They Live goggles. So pleasing and flattering themselves with their own wisdom, thank God, I say, will not be mocked, but the Creator of all things will be invoked with oh my God, I'm sorry, reverential fear and a stillness and acknowledgement. So just like Jaron was asking, do you fear God? Yeah, that's what it's all about. And it's with obedience. And there's great reason for what hath man to be received from his omnipotent Creator. Whether you have respect to the body or to the soul which operates the body, ? Okay, that is, I think we're kind of hit it there, what that's all about. If anyone else knows anything about this stuff, or has been studying, or is an expert, feel free to leave a comment or anything. Alright. And I'll take a little time out there. Need to get hydrated doing all this reading. So, okay. Okay, so after I read that, there's this little sidebar at the bottom here. So what the author hath premised here at large and elsewhere here inserted touching piety, the worship of God in invocation of his name. I propose neither to praise nor dispraise. Let them be judged by signs of his own earnest piety, arguments of his sincerity, and signet impresses of his fervent zeal. By so many tautologies and reiterations often boiling up, every man according to the opinion of his mind and the persuasion in which he was educated from his childhood, will more or less esteem of this. It was my business to translate the author's writing into Latin in such a method and order I thought would in no wise, not ways, give any distaste to the delicate palate of the reader. Also to indicate that which seems pertinent to the business of every chemist and true spagyrist, and not to neglect the other. For such piety is available for all things, as divine oracles teach, and the principal exercise of piety is prayer, by which celestial gifts are obtained by God, the giver of all good things. Our author wills that unto him the mind be lifted up in the midst of the operations of chemists full of labor and toil. If prayer affected no other thing, it certainly collects the mind, called away from all other things into itself, and renders it apt for that which is in hand. Whence it comes to pass that it reflects upon many things and considers them which otherwise would not enter the mind, if it is set about in its work perfunctorily and distracted with various conceptions. And so by the help of prayer we receive many things, which we, if not ungrateful, must needs acknowledge we have obtained from God. Yeah, it says that. Which we, if not ungrateful, must needs acknowledge we have obtained from God. So, thank you, God. And thank you for the internet to be able to read all this stuff. How often this is found to be of use in spagyric works every man knows that hath any time entirely devoted himself to this business. How often those things which he long sought and could not find have been imparted to him in a moment, and as it were infused from above, or dictated by some good genius that also is of use in dissolving all riddles or enigmatical writings. For if you burn with a great desire of knowing them, that is prayer. And when you incline your mind to this or that, variously discussing and meditating many things, this is cooperation, that your prayer not be idle or tempting God, yet this is your endeavor is in vain until you find the solution. Nevertheless, if you despair not, but instantly persist in desire, maybe that's desire, and cease not from labor, at length in a moment the solution will fall in. This is revelation, which you cannot receive unless you pray with great desire and labor, using your utmost endeavor, and yet cannot perceive how from all those things of which you thought, which were not the solution of the enigma, the solution itself arose. This unfolding of the riddle opens to you the mystery of all great things, and shews how available prayer is for the obtainment of things spiritual and eternal, as well as corporal and perishing goods. And when prayer is made with a heart not feigned but sincere, you you'll see that there is nothing more fit for acquiring of what you desire, that these suffice to be spoken of prayer, which Basil and all philosophers with him do not vainly require as an introduction to chemistry, for piety is profitable for all works, especially for great undertakings. Okay, and I just want to get into the next one just briefly, because this is Monday and I have to cut it short. Next in order after prayer is contemplation, by which I understand an accurate attention to the business itself, under which fall these considerations first to be noted, as what are the circumstances of anything, what the matter, what the form, whence its operations proceed, whence it is infused and implanted, how generated by the stars, conformed by the elements, produced and perfected by the three principles. Also, how the body of everything may be dissolved, that is, resolved into the first matter or first essence, of which I have already made mention of in other writings, how the last matter may be changed into the first, and the first into the last. So, we're talking about elements, principles, matter, essence. I'm sure these are going to be reoccurring themes in our journey. So, what are we here set down? Touching the true theory of philosophy and compendiums of those things, which philosophers have in us many books, revealed, shall I say, or concealed. Attend to the words of the author, and you will see that he perfectly knew that spirit penetrating all things, which presides or bears rule in all things, yet is involved in absconded matter and defilements on every side, from which, if once freed, it returns to the purity of its own substance, in which it produceth all things, and is all in all. To comment upon this would be a work no less than producing all of books of philosophers compiled with such accurate study and contending with such contention about the theory. So this contemplation, which absolves the second part of our admonition, is celestial and to be understood with spiritual reason, for the circumstances and depth of everything cannot be perceived. Sorry, I had a little alchemy going on there. Any other way than by the spiritual cogitation of man, and this contemplation is twofold. One is called possible, the other impossible. The latter consists of copious cogitations which never proceed to effects, nor exhibit any form of matter which falls under the touch, as if any one should endeavor to comprehend the eternity of the Most High, which is in vain and impossible. Yea, a sin against the Holy Spirit, so arrogantly to pry into the divinity itself, which is immense, infinite, and eternal, and to subject an incomprehensive counsel of the secrets of God to humane inquisition. The other part of contemplation which is possible is called the theory. This contemplates that which is perceived by touch and sight, that hath a form, nature, and time. Okay, so destruction and contraction. Okay, and in time, this considers how that nature may be helped and perfected by resolution of itself, how everybody may give forth from itself the good or evil, venom or medicine latent in it. Yeah, that's the idea that venom could be medicine or poison. Crow talked about that a lot. or talks about that a lot. How destruction and contraction are to be handled, whereby under a just title, without sophistical deceits, the pure may be severed and separated from the impure. Yeah, just like the Cox postulate. This is what this is all about. The separation is instituted and made by divers manual operators in various ways, some of which are vulgarly known by experience, others remote from vulgar experience. These are calcination, sublimation, reverberation, circulation, putrefaction, digestion, distillation, cohobation, fixation, and like all of these, all degrees of which are found in operating, learned, perceived, and manifest by the same, whence clearly appears what is movable and what is fixed, what is white, red, black, blue, or green. When the operation is rightfully instituted by the artificer, for possibly the operator may err and turn aside from the right way, but the nature should err when rightly handled is not possible. Therefore, if you shall err, so that nature cannot be altogether free and released from the body, which it is held captive, return again in your way, learn the theory more perfectly, and inquire more accurately in the method of operating, that you may find the foundation in certainty, but it's spelled differently. And a lot of these words are spelled differently, you guys. In separation of all things, which is a matter of great concern. And this is the second foundation of philosophy, which follows prayer. For in that the sum of the matter lies, and is contained in these words: seek first the kingdom of God and his justice by prayer, and all other things which man seeks in these temporals, and he hath need of, either from the sustentation or health of his body, shall be added to you. So I'm going to stop there at contemplation, because I think we did both those, which is cool. I feel like we went through prayer, and then I said a prayer during it. We went back and read it, and I didn't even know the second concept. Or, anyways, I'm not going to dig too deep in this, but the next step is contemplation, and my whole point is it seems natural. It just already seems something natural you're doing, but this is bringing order to it all. We have natural power, and this stuff seems difficult on the exterior, but I think on the interior it's just like prayer. It's that simple, you guys. So let's make this a part of your daily work here. And all right, I want to keep it going here, and I'm gonna have to end soon, so let's talk about howtowinIncourt.com. There's a lot of legal stuff still in the air, so I need to squeeze that in there somehow. I didn't have anything prepared, so let's just I think just at least a little bit of just law, just something Frederick Graves real quick, okay? So this is contrary to popular myth. So contrary to popular myth, our rights in this nation do not derive from our Constitution. The people of this great nation deserve to know the truth. Our rights come from ancient principles of law upon which our Constitution was built. The Constitution did not create them. Our Constitution is an attempt to codify ancient principles of law and to provide a mechanism for enforcing those principles for the benefit of all by granting rights to the people while restraining the exercises of government power beyond what is good for the people, i.e. what is good for each and every one of you, each of you individually. And it's got a guy, he's on a magic carpet. He's got a beard and a turban, and he looks really almost hypnotized and excited. That's how I feel. It's like my journey here. Just autopilot here, not autopilot, cruise control here. And, I'm possessed by Michael, the Archangel, okay? The printed words you see before you are only symbols of the spirits they represent. The symbols are not the words, nor can thoughts expressed by printed words be locked on a page. Thoughts are alive and exist separate from the words that express them. Thoughts are spirits. Thoughts exist apart from printed symbols. Thoughts can be expressed by printed or spoken words. However, thoughts themselves are independent of the page or voice expressing them. True thoughts are parts of eternal spirit. False thoughts are darkness. Yeah, you know what those dark thoughts say? All those negative things aren't true. All those stupid stories we tell ourselves, you know, when you feel like you should be in trouble, you shouldn't. You're good. You're pure. You're an angel. You're angelic. You know, you can do it. Words are the spirit thoughts they represent are not tangible things. One cannot put words or the spirit thoughts they express in a basket like apples. Words and ideas are intangible things. Trees and cobblestones are tangible things. They are not spirits. There's a difference. The difference is critically important to understanding legal principles, for law is spirit and exists apart from the tangible world. There is a tangible reality and there is a spiritual reality. Guns and swords are tangible. Principles and promises are spiritual. In the realm of the tangible things, we find transition. Change is constantly at work. Change affects all. What was truly yesterday in the tangible world, i.e. in the world separate from words, may not be true today. Moth and rust consumes all. As Lucretius says, tall towers will fall and mountains will crumble. Tangible things don't last. Lucretius didn't say tangible things don't last. He said towers will fall and mountains will crumble. However, spiritual truths last forever, for they were true from the beginning and always will be true. True words are enduring spirits. When words express truth, they overcome falsehood, the adversity of peace and human happiness. Thus, the maxim, a thing similar is not exactly the same, is true. It cannot be refuted. It is not subject to changes in the tangible world precisely because it exists outside the tangible. It is spirit, the simplest maxim of law, and it is true, self-evidently so. Truth exists. Truth in the tangible world may change from day to day. Truth in the spiritual world never changes. Maxims teach us unchanging truths and guide us in wisdom. Truth is truth. Nothing else is. Reality is the tangible world may be illusion, but reality in the world of spirit is real. That which is the true spirit is always true. It is upon this fundamental truth that maxims of law are erected, principles of justice and truth that never change. They were true before you and I were born. They will be true then the sun stops shining and the oceans free solid. They are self-evidently true. They comply with the scrutiny of common sense. Only the most unreasonable or deceitfully self-interested person will attempt to deny self-evident truth. Over mankind's 6,000-year history, wise writers have written self-evident truths to guide us in the admission of justice, to give us a measure by which we can examine our system of codes and precepts to judge if they are truly just. These self-evident maxims of law are relied upon and cited in cases today by every court in the land. They are not subject to debate. They need not be taken on faith. They all require is modicum of common sense. Indeed, they are the bedrock of common sense as it applies to the administration of law in civilized societies. Unfortunately, however, principles codified by ancient legal maxims are being displaced by modern thinkers who are intentionally eroding our due process rights and the rule of law with stupidity and self-serving policies that ultimately threaten the welfare of those with little or no financial or political power to secure justice in our legal system today. Before Columbus sailed, maxims were studied and preserved by scholars wise enough to know that someday principles embodied in maxims would improve the human condition, establishing republics like ours where justice and liberty would be preserved by people willing to adhere to the reliable guide of self-evident truth. The men who met on the 4th of 1776 were in agreement about maxims. Indeed, it was their faith in the self-evident truths of maxim and their love for the people that guided them to rebel against King George in the first place and later to draft our Constitution as they did. Maxims were the bedrock of our nation's liberty. Maxims guided the founding fathers to declare our independence from the crown. Maxims were embodied in our Constitution and form its framework. Maxims express the principles of equity that encourage them to stand together and trust the blessing of providence on their holy enterprise. This truth is too little known today, yet it is as certain as the stars. Yet it is as certain as the stars. God, sorry. That was rough. Oh no. The holy experiment, as William Penn called the foundling. No, I think it's founding, and I just read something, so it doesn't help me. Nation of America was predicted on maxims of law that compelled right-thinking men and women of courage and goodwill to work together, pleading their lives and sacred fortunes to the cause of liberty and justice for all. Truth would see them through, self-evident truth. So where did the maxims come from? Almost sound like our NPR. So where did the maxims come from? It would be a lot better if you did read like that. Okay. Most maxims come from the Church of England. That had its own courts called courts of equity, where principles of fairness were applied to the cases brought before its bench, regardless of the wealth or political station of the litigants. These maxims were held to outweigh imperatives of the king's written royal law. The justice of law and mercy was held higher than the lex that flowed from the king's pen. The courts of the church dispensed equity. The courts of the king enforced the written law. Maxims of equity temper the law. Maxims of equity prevent from being cruel. Maxims of equity, therefore, must be preserved and published to the present generation and to each succeeding generation until the end of time. Okay. I agree. These maxims are cool. So the maxims, and this is in parentheses, he who seeks the benefit of equity must go to court with clean hands. So, yeah, you got to go in there with saying the truth, speaking the truth, being single-minded. You can't go there lying, double-minded. Okay. So there are fundamental expressions of self-evident truth intended to guide our courts to dispense justice fairly. The safety of the people cannot be judged but by the safety of every individual. Liberty to all but preference to none. Such maxims are built on principles of love, supported by common sense, and the experience within history has taught us the consequence of ignoring their self-evident truth. Maxims encourage the framers to embark on their holy experiment that is America. Who sees this today? Who speaks of it openly? Who teaches these principles? The maxims need to be taught today. Without the power of self-evident truth expressed so widely by ancient maxims, liberty may soon become an empty dream for all but the rich and powerful. Without the protections of self-evident truths, the weak and few will be destroyed by the powerful and many. Justice cannot survive where there are no rules to guide it. Maxims prevent the abuse of power. Only by re-establishing the self-evident truths set forth in the maxims by equity can we hope to guide our children safely in this 21st century. What is needed is a team of talented artists, writers, educators, publishers, promoters, and media personalities to impart these simple concepts to our children and to all who listen, lifting the lamp higher, leading our children out of the darkness toward which they are steadfastly marching with misplaced confidence at this hour. Today's generation is guided only by good intentions. Fill in the blank. The maxims of equity must be restored as soon as possible. No expense should be spared. The need is critical. Time is of the essence. Lift the lamp higher. Hail maxims. Hail Frederick Graves. Okay, hopefully some of this may inspire you to be more than you imagine possible, to reach higher for the best you can be, and to rise far above what others may call good enough. If you enjoyed any of this, please email me at lawbook.com, jurisdictionary.com, and this is copyright. Copy freely with acknowledgement. So, Doctor, there's your acknowledgement. We love you over here at Apocryphite44. Okay, so yeah, don't forget to go. We need to get into some serious law tomorrow. I think legal terms. So we know we sound. When we talk, we use a good lingo on our court, and I'm reading a lot. I'm sorry, it's not easy, okay? It's not easy reading all these things, but it's a challenge I want to do, and I set for myself. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like the segue right here into Apocrypha. So, the sinners will groan upon the earth, saying, "What have you done to us, O son lawlessness?" Saying, "I am the Christ," when you are the devil. You are unable to save yourself so that you might save us. You produced signs in our presence until you alienated us from the Christ who created us. So, yeah, you gotta watch out for the tricksters, man. So some of these people, I don't know, I gotta stop swearing, because people that swear a lot, certain things, like just little signals, little things that signal you, just like Freemasons do everything they do. Or like guy's carrying an umbrella, you're like, why? It's like for a reason, like you gotta look for those signs. You produced signs in our presence until you alienated us from the Christ who created us. Okay, so look out for those signs. Woe to us because we listened to you. Woe. Lo, now we will die in a famine. We're stuck out here in the desert. We thought it'd be a good idea to come out to your hippie commune and you preach about anarchy and Jesus. You're not even teaching about. You're not the Christ. Where indeed is now the trace of a righteous one, and we will worship him? Or where indeed is the one who will teach us and will appeal to him? Well, Yahweh, he's got a few individuals who'll teach you. Now indeed we will be wrathfully destroyed because we disobeyed Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. Don't disobey Yahweh. Go. It's not. That's what I wanted to get. I don't have time. There's never time. But the Book of Jubilees. I was listening to it today, and they speak about pollution, guys. Don't pollute. Give a hoot. Let's go to the farmer's market. Let's grow our food. Let's compost everything. Let's be zero corporation. Let's ferment our stuff in reusable containers. We can do it. Okay. So, back. We went to the deep places of the sea, and we did not find water. We dug in the rivers and papyrus reeds. We did not find water. Then on that day, the shameless one will speak, saying, "Woe to me, because my time has passed by from me, while I was saying that my time would not pass by from me." Man, you just read that last night. I sure did, but we gotta go back. Contemplation, my friend. First is prayer, then contemplation. Okay, you want to be a spagyrist and a apocryphite. I mean, that's the order we're going for. It's high order, but I think Dr. Graves will channel into us and we can do it. Whatever he's drinking, it's green juice, good for you, powers you. Okay. Many years become months, and my days have passed away as dust passes away. Now therefore I will perish together with you. Now therefore run forth to the desert. Seize the robbers and kill them. Seize them. I was LARPing today, and I told some guy he wasn't agreeing with me. I think it was some flat earth thing or something, and then he's trying to be a smart guy and using real world logic, so I came out of left field and LARPed. I said, "Seize him. Seize him. He is the shameless one. Seize him." And then the guy played along. He's like, "Aye, aye, Captain. What do you want me to do?" I was like, "Feed him to the lions." But, okay. LARPing is fun. You should be creative. With the brothers and sisters of God, we don't need much. Like, very little. You'd be surprised how much fun you can have. Okay. So we're going to seize those robbers and kill them. Bring up the saints. Up the saints, mate. Oi, oi, oi. Up the saints. Oi, oi, oi. Up the saints. Gonna do a Christian, like Catholic oi band. Like the Hospitallers. Knights Hospitallers. Who wants to join me on the Holy Conquest? I need a good drummer and maybe a guitarist or bass. I could play guitar and sing or play bass, but I'm kind of just having fun with this. Sorry, I'm not being really. It's 10. I gotta stop it soon. Okay, bring up the saints, for because of them the earth yields fruit. For because of them the sun shines upon the earth. For because of them dew will come down upon the earth. The sinners will weep, saying, "You made us hostile to Yahweh. If you are able, rise up and pursue them." Then he will take his fire wings and fly out after the saints. He will fight against them. The angels will hear and come down. They will fight with him in a battle of many swords. And I'm going to stop here with a prayer. Thank you, angels, for coming down and fighting on our behalf and preserving order in the will of Yahweh. Thank you for listening, and until tomorrow, hail Yahweh and peace to you all. God bless.